Alright, let's do an update on the Camaro. Excuse my voice if it sounds a little hoarse. I currently have strep throat. So, I'm on the tail end of it, but it's gonna take me a little while to get fully over it. Hopefully by the end of this episode. First thing I want to go over is this is absolutely essential to have while you're working on a classic car, respirator, because there's a lot of asbestos in classic cars. So I want to go over, we took off the vinyl roof, which I don't think was stock on this car. Well, maybe it was. Anyway, it was white at one point, see? And then it was red, and now it's blue. You can see some of the red overspray right there. And we took a lot of the interior out, almost all of it. And it was gross in here too. You guys did not want to see that, trust me. Headliner looks good though. Probably just going to keep that in. All that soft stuff over there looks okay, but I think maybe we should replace it. Oh, you know what? Right back there doesn't look so good. We'll just replace that. Not sure what this episode is going to comprise of. I think we're just going to take the interior completely out and go from there. I also want to cover another tool that's completely essential for classic car restoration, and it is a beefy shop vac. Mine's 6.5 horsepower rigid. You get them at Home Depot for not a lot of money. And just look how big the intake hose is. That thing was sucking up change and lip gloss and all the other stuff I found in here, and all the ickies that are left over from the 60s and stuff. So if you're going to take apart cars, you need a respirator and a shop vac. Might not look like too much has changed, but a ton of really bad, moldy, gross padding has been removed. Everything looks genuinely a lot better. But I think what I'm going to do now is take the center console out, and that god-awful abomination of a radio, that's going straight in the trash. You can't hurt anybody anymore. That's where that belongs. Look how much better it looks without it. Holy cow. Okay, so now that we got the center console out of the car, we're going to take a look at how it all holds together, because I'm pretty sure the trim on the center console comes out. I've already removed a few bolts. And then we can just shoot the plastic in flat black and polish up the metal bits here and wrap it up in plastic and put it in the rafters until we're ready to put it back in the car. And then I want to put some electrical tape over these too. These were sparking a bit when these came in contact with the metal. I know they're never really going to once they're secured in place, but a little bit of electrical tape, like where my thumb is, would not hurt this. So we gotta paint this all up, mask it off, and paint it off, because this is a light. This goes in the back of the center console. So we got some work to do. Okay, so we've cleaned all the surfaces we're gonna paint. I'm not really too concerned about inside the center console here, because we're gonna put a liner in, so I'm not gonna stress that. And that part obviously doesn't show, so I don't really care. I mean, that's all caked in there anyway. So all the surfaces that are going to show up and have experienced wear are going to be cleaned, have already been cleaned with a 409. Some sort of degreaser is what you're looking for. And some people like to sand these surfaces, but here's the thing. If you sand this surface, it'll no longer have the stock texture. So we're just going to we cleaned it with our degreaser, and the paint's going to stick to it just fine. And even if it doesn't, I'll sand it off and do it again. This is nice and getting dry. That's a little splotchy on camera, but I'm sure it'll dry nice and flat. So that's probably going to take, I don't know, 20 minutes. I'm gonna let it sit for half an hour though. Make sure it's extra dry. While that's doing that, so this is going to require some polishing and some masking and some pretty heavy cleaning. Alright, so I've gotten the metal piece for the center console painted. It looks pretty darn good. I'm actually really happy with the way it has turned out so far. The plastic piece of the center console has also turned out fairly well. Again, don't worry too much about in here because we're going to put a liner in, so this kind of stuff doesn't really matter that much. So this is going to look awesome. Let's just put it back together. Alright, there she is back together, basically, except for the rear ashtray cover. I ran out of paint, so that's a dough moment. And I'm pretty happy with it. You gotta remember too, this isn't a concourse level Pebble Beach, oh my god car. This is going to be a car I want to drive and enjoy. And for that, I think it's turned out pretty darn well. Beats paying the $600 to get a new one. So that's cool. So I just need to finish painting that and then replace this. Goes here, just like that, but you know, looks good. Not this one. On the rear, I got those painted as well. I tried to block those off as good as I can. That's a rear light, in case you're wondering. There's a light bulb that goes back there, and yeah. So I repainted that instead of, again, paying a boatload of money. That's going to be the common theme of this car. Repainting and reusing instead of just paying a ton. So that's cool, but now we can go do something else. Alright, since we moved on from the center console, we have now tried stripping the paint here and all the glue from the vinyl roof, and it is going fairly well. And I thought this car had only been painted twice, besides, you know, the factory coat, but look, you got bare metal, factory white, orange, red, and then blue. So it's been painted 4 times, my poor car. How many times are you gonna paint the thing? Well, it doesn't matter anyway. We're taking it down to bare metal, and I'm thinking I'm going to paint it factory white, return it to its factory paint color. If you're wondering what we've been using, this DeWalt drill with a 3M paint stripper. These are available at Home Depot. They're not very expensive, and so far so good. We were trying to use acetone to take the glue off, but the glue is so aggressive, it's just, excuse me, not happening. So we decided to use that paint stripper instead, and it's been working really, really well. You know, we got this nice, it's a little bit rough on the metal, but we're gonna go back with some finer sanding pads and get this to be nice and smooth, and then fill in any holes. If you're wondering what these holes are, these are from the actual vinyl roof, you know, trim buttons, I believe is what they're called. So we're gonna have to Bondo those. There's nothing we can do about that. And they do present bigger holes like that, but so far so good. And we took off a little bit here on my favorite line of the car just to make sure that it is in fact metal, and it is. It's not Bondo, so. Alright. There we go. Now I have a limited edition translucent fender 1967 Camaro. Well, here's the rub. You have to remove the fender just to get to the blower motor for the heater. That must have been fun to fix back in the day. So, yeah, I mean, you have to at least take the inner fender out. And to get the inner fender out, at least to my knowledge, you have to take the fender off completely. So, that's that. And there's little pieces like this lower fender piece that might be salvageable. I don't know. I might just buy a new one. Who knows? And this front balance piece, all this needs to come off. I'm just gonna take all of the sheet metal off of the front of the car and decide what I can use and what I can't, and paint and salvage what I can. Luckily, all of the back shell is salvageable, which is good. And I think this cowl is salvageable as well, so this will probably be staying. But the rest will be needing new sheet metal, so let's finish taking the HVAC out. Okay everyone, it is time to put on the first new part for my car. I haven't put on any new parts yet. All I've done is take off old ones. So this is going to be the first new part. It is a gas cap, because if you go around to the rear of my vehicle, to my pink vacuum cleaner, you can see that we've just been using tape. That is no good. Okay, so something a little interesting I just realized. This car has been lightly rear-ended at some point because the top of the gas tank filler like this was all crimped in. So I used some channel locks and bent that out because the cap was not securing fully on there. It was just kind of haphazardly, stuck on. Because the idea is that you put these on, and it has these little tangs sticking out, and those go in those slots there. That goes in those slots right there. And then these on the side are collapsible, and that's what releases when you unlock the lock here on the bow tie. Now, I'm probably going to replace the gas tank, so this is not going to be the final fill port, basically. I'm going to get a new gas tank and put it in, and I believe it comes with the fill port already welded in there, and then you just bolt it in through here, and we're probably going to get a new rear panel here as well, so that'll all be new. But I did want a gas tank so the garage will stop reeking like that gas and fumes escaping. So, and now, see, I can't take that off very easily. It's actually really hard to get off, so that's why you have the key. So now it looks a bit better from the rear. It has a nice bow tie emblem on the back. I really like that. All right, we got the driver's side fender off, and the cowl, and the front valance piece off. And once we took it off, we very much noticed how bad they were. They were very much bonded and gross and dented, and they just didn't belong in the car. So I took all the sheet metal off and thrown it in the trash where it belongs, because it is it's pretty junky, man. So I've ordered new panels that should be here within the week, but I think this is a good spot to end this video. But before we go, I also took the trunk lid off and threw that in the trash because it too was no good, which kind of makes me sad. I know it's the original sheet metal, and it would have been neat to keep all the metal the same, but it was bad. There's nothing more I can do about it. And you can tell right here, that indent there, it's a good indicator of what the lid looked like. It matched it in every way. So it's been scrunched in the back at least once, so I didn't want to leave that on here. So I'm going to keep doing these videos, hopefully a little bit more structured on the next one. And, I'm just going to keep doing them as I do them. I think this one ran a little long, so I'm going to try to keep the next one a little shorter. But if you enjoyed this type of content, make sure you're subscribed down below and ring that notification bell. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.